From talking to your mom, you stayed in the car for about 4 months.
We live in the car because we had no house. My brother had to sleep in the back and I had to sleep in the
front. Yeah.
We only had to eat sandwiches. That's all.
When a single mother walks into our food bank looking for food, what she's really after is a loving, stable home to provide their children an opportunity to have a positive vision for their future. So when I look at our services, the question I ask is, how can we integrate our services to serve the whole person?
Homelessness is it's a reality. So I think when you see people struggling and have different events come up in their life, there's times when people need a little extra support.
Well, last year we provided housing to over 100 households. Nearly 250 households we were able to keep out of homelessness with our homeless prevention programs. In our food bank services, we provided over 19,000 people in Snohomish County and in North King County with food services. Those are services that they may not be able to get elsewhere if our programs weren't here.
Why is having a home important?
So you can live and don't have to live on the streets.
Several months ago, a person called in. She was at the end of her rope. She'd been laid off from her job. She wasn't sure that she was going to be able to continue to pay the rent on the 3-bedroom apartment that she had for her and her kids. She wasn't sure what was going to happen. Her kids were out of town for the weekend, and she kind of had it all planned out. You know, she was going to kill herself. She was to the point where she actually felt like her kids would be better off living with the person that they were with for the weekend than they would be with her, that she was more harm to them alive than she would be if she was dead.
Any crisis where somebody is feeling compelled to call into a call center like at Volunteers of America is a self-defined crisis. That could be anything from an animal dying to somebody hearing voices in their head, or they're starting to have thoughts that life is hopeless and they can't live anymore. We're the only region in the state that has a central one-number entry into ongoing mental health services.
And it's like literally we are the people that they need to call in order to get themselves back to that baseline. Like, I really did consider it a privilege to be there for that woman that night, that woman who had lost hope. It was a privilege to be there for her.
When children are not entering school ready and prepared, what are the chances that they'll be reading at grade level by the time they're in the 3rd grade? And we know that the number of words that a child has in their vocabulary is critical. And so putting them in a print-rich, language-rich early learning environment helps to increase the number of words that children have in their vocabulary.
As we help to get them ready for the transition into kindergarten. We help the child, we help the parent, we help the whole family so that when they go into a public school setting, they are more equipped to deal with what comes at them in terms of academic development and social emotional development. I know that they will be on their way to being more successful in school. And if they can be more successful when they get to the public school out of my hands, then they stand a better chance of graduating from high school and breaking a cycle or breaking down a barrier that may have been there before.
If this program wasn't available, I don't know if my son can go to preschool. This program, I think, is very important for the kids.
Picture what you have to go through every day to do what you need to do. For as busy as these individuals may be, they're not all physically able to do everything that needs to be done in order for them to be independent.
Yeah, we do have a great, excellent services from our disability services. Like go out to outings and have a good time, spend time with all my caregivers.
These are all services that Volunteers of America provides in individuals' homes. And in many cases, 24/7.
My biggest motivation comes from being willing and wanting to do something for other people. You have to take what you've gotten through the years and help someone else.
Our divorce happened in 2009. We have 3 children, and I didn't know about that our house was already auctioned. So I received a notice to vacate the house in 20 days, so we had no house. So I needed housing, I needed, basic needs, food and stuff. I had no money.
We're here to provide conflict resolution services to anyone who's experiencing a conflict or to anyone who's interested in helping to resolve a conflict.
There are multiple issues that come with divorce, and then you have to deal with, other than the basic needs in daily life, you have to deal with the emotional stress of the children too.
Nonviolent, non-litigious resolution of conflicts, ways to address conflicts, are the most constructive ways to go.
Helping people have good conversations so that they become empowered to navigate their own lives, I think, is the essence of what we do. And is sort of that extra benefit that we get for being part of Volunteers of America, that we get to reach these people in the community that may have never had access to those kinds of skills before.
Well, I was a school teacher most of my life, and I thought, oh, retirement will be heaven, And all of a sudden, nobody seemed to need me. When you're home and your friends are still maybe working and your wife still works, I decided I needed to get out of the house and do some good.
Volunteer engagement provides volunteers to any and all of the programs in our affiliate at Volunteers of America Western Washington.
It's an incredibly vital way for them to connect with their community. People have a wonderful opportunity to see firsthand what it might be like for a family to use the food bank for the first time, or what it might be like for a senior who's isolated to not be able to get out to the grocery store. They can see what that looks like, and they can realize that they have the opportunity to make a difference in that person's life.
I looked at it as thinking that mediation could help me build on some of the skills I used as a manager, but also help me become a better person and help others. And sure enough, that's what's kept me in it, helping others and becoming a better person.
It's great to be able to provide emotional support. And for that period of time, I did provide that emotional support, and I ensured that that woman was not going to kill herself that night. To know that they're going to get a person on the other line, it's part of VOA, that they're going to get to a person who can actually help them meet those tangible needs. I feel like that is really giving that person something to hope for.
I've had so many people come into our offices looking for services, and they're exhausted. And the idea behind these integrated service models is that they would come in, and regardless of the need, we would actually create that connection for them rather than just handing them a number and sending them back out the door.
I think we're learning a lot about, wow, we have a lot more to offer our clients. And instead of just being focused on conflict resolution and saying, okay, we're here to resolve this issue, we're able to say, we have all these resources behind us. Let's really listen to what this parent is going through, what's the impact on the children, and let's make sure that they know about everything VOA has to offer so that 100% of our clients are walking out the door knowing exactly what they need to do next for themselves and their family.
Basic needs, personal support services, mediation services, behavioral health services, child and youth services, and volunteer engagement are all essential for how we provide those services necessary to create a positive and powerful vision for our future.